vessels and nerves of anterior wall. These are layers, I think is understandable, yeah? So 8 layers. About Langenbeck space. Immediately in this picture you can see here, that is transverse fascia, that is parietal layer of peritoneum, and that is under transverse fascia fat. This is not so developed like the subcutaneous fatty tissue, of course. The length of it approximately 1 centimeter, but it contains vessels and nerves, which I will little after will show for you. Now, if you don't have any questions, let's come to the vessels and nerves of anterior wall, because again and again I want to mention, guys, that any surgery, this is hard work with the vessels and nerves. That is impossible to imagine surgery without this work. And let's speak now about the vessels. As you remember from your anatomy, maybe, vessels and nerves in anterior wall divided into 2 big groups, so-called superficial and deep. Superficial located in fatty tissue. By the way, you will be very lucky if you will have questions about superficial vessels and nerves. Why? Because at once you can say the place of their location, fat. Can I say the same for deep? No. They will be deeper to fat, but in different places. If for the superficial we have exact place of location, for deeps, no. For deeps, we can say only that they are deeper to the fatty tissue. But where they located immediately, it is the big problem, which you must remember. Let's start from superficial vessels and nerves. First of all, guys, I want to remind you 3 arteries, which we studied together in the upper third of anterior terminator. All of them in fatty tissue, all of them is branches for arteria femoralis, and we call them epigastrica superficialis, circumflexa superficialis, pudenda externa. All these arteries you can see here. By the way, what the difference, if it possible, what the difference between the left and the right side of this picture? Simple question. Guys, look, if you don't recognize our pictures, it means you don't study absolutely my subject. Because my subject, it is not text. My subject, it is imagination. My subject should be imagined. Because if you will know everything about artery, but cannot recognize it during the surgery, value of my subject will be 0.
The superficial epigastric artery from the...
Can you come to the desk, please? Take your pen. Simple question, yeah? You have the anterior abdominal wall, but as you can see, it is not symmetrical, yeah? Something is added or vice versa removed. It's a, what the difference between, now let's divide it into 2 equal parts. And tell me what the difference in the picture is of left and right side.
Left the superficial epigastric artery directly.
That is the difference? So just the painter forget to draw here the red line, yeah, in your opinion. And this is the difference between these 2 parts of the picture. Fantastical option. Let's say this is the bad painter, bad artist. Yeah? Of course no, friend. You don't recognize the layers. Here the painter draws subcutaneous fatty tissue. Here the painter draws the level of the transverse abdominal muscle. Fat, external oblique, internal oblique muscles is removed, and you can see transverse muscle. By the way, in the mid side of your picture, painter also open sheet of the rectus muscle. In upper third, this rectus is not removed. In lower third, painter remove the rectus from the capsule and show vessels which is located behind of it. Sit down, friend. That is very sad, great friends. You don't use all this my huge work. Believe me, I waste so long time to find. It's not wasting, it's using. Because I think that it will be useful for you, but I see that it's useless for you. If you don't, again I say you friends, if you don't imagine the structures inside of the body, you don't know my subject. Let's say this picture is combined. That is the same person, but in different layers. Here you see 3 different layers. Left side, totally subcutaneous fat. Mid side, it is the rectus sheath, partly with removed, partly with non-removed. And right side, totally it is the level of the transverse abdominal muscle. That's the problem. That's why in left side of the picture you see the superficial structures. In right one you see deep structures. And which superficial structures you see? 1, 2, and 3. All of them come from the level of the hiatus saphenous, as you can see, or near it. The arteria femoralis gives these 3 superficial branches. They come to the fact the transitory pass from the thigh region doesn't supply anything, and they ascend it into anterior wall. By the way, primary point of projection is same. You divide it in inguinal ligament into 3 equal parts, upper, middle, lower. And you take this by finger between middle and lower third. Now for epigastricus superficialis from mentioned point, draw line to umbilicus. For circumflexa ilis superficialis, up to anterior superior iliac spine. And for pudenda externa to tuber rubicum. That will be projections of them. What else we have in fact? Of course, the big venous network. This venous network greatly shown, for example, in this picture. Do you see under the skin a lot of blue lines? This is the superficial veins. And read in your home which kind of the anastomosis here we have in anterior wall. As you remember from your anatomy, generally there are 2 types of venous anastomosis, portocaval and cava-caval. Portocaval, it is between caval and portal venous system. Cava-caval, it is between superior caval and inferior caval venous system. By the way, anterior abdominal wall have both types of venous anastomosis, and portocaval and cava-caval. You can ask me now, but sir, what the practical meaning of it? Huge. Now imagine that inside of one from these 2 systems which I mentioned, there are hypertension. For example, due to the abstraction, complete or portional. For example, your liver compress the portal vein, which is inside of it. It can be happen in case of cirrhosis, in case of the tumors. And blood will try to find the shunts to avoid the portal system. And it will be immediately portocaval anastomosis. Of course, such blood will not be detoxicated. And it will give the intoxication, because what is the main function of portal system? To clean the blood, which is absorbed from the intestine. Because intestine give you not only nutrition, but a lot of toxins. That's why from intestine, blood is accumulated into 3 veins, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric, and spleen. They join to each other behind of the head of pancreas, and they form the portal vein. Portal vein enters inside of hepatoduodenal ligament, and together with the liver vessels, it is entered into the hilum of the liver. If this portocaval anastomosis will be used for shunting of the blood, veins which is surrounding your umbilicus will be enlarged, and we will have the sign of caput medusa. Remember the Greek mythological personnel, which is called Medusa Gorgona. Instead of the hairs, she has the snakes. That's all what I want to give you. We need attention.